This video is sponsored by the Dollar Shave Club. Want top-of-the-line razors for $1? Stay tuned to find out how. I decided to do a second birthday list because, well, why not? I get a lot of people asking what TV shows I like that are not anime, so I thought I'd make a special video going over my favorite shows of all time. There's only 2 rules for this list. Number 1, it has to be shows that I like. Well, that goes without saying, but yeah, it's my birthday video, so I'm going to talk about the shows that I like. Number 2, no anime allowed. I also posted on Facebook a little challenge. I was 100% certain that no one could guess which show was my number 1 favorite, so my challenge to them was if anyone could guess my number 1 choice, I'd give them a free poster. Did anyone guess right? Let's find out. Here is my birthday list of top 10 non-anime shows I like. Number 10. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not really including Legend of Korra since I never finished that series, but I plan to. And yes, even though a lot of people consider this to be an anime, I for one do not. Because, well, I'd like to give America some credit for actually making an amazing show. Japan can't take all the credit for Avatar, nor should Disney take credit for Anastasia. Anyways, the basic story of the show is laid out in the opening credits. There are people known as benders who have certain elemental powers: water, fire, earth, and air. For a while, the 4 nations of the world lived in peace.
Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
One individual, known as the Avatar, can control all 4 elements and is supposed to keep the peace between the nations. But somehow the Avatar at the time disappeared and was never seen since for 100 years. The series then starts off during the dark reign of the Fire Nation as we meet a brother and sister named Sokka and Katara find the missing Avatar named Aang, frozen in ice. As he awakens from his slumber, he starts on his path to make things right again and accepts his duty as the long-awaited Avatar. Where do I even start? The animation? Phenomenal. The writing? Excellent. The action, the drama, the characters, the everything. Everything about the story is not only appealing for all ages, but an overall amazing story to witness. No one is perfect in this show, not even the heroes, as we witness them questioning their morals and tactics in order to bring peace back. Even some of the villains were very well fleshed out and were at times relatable. I could go on and on over how much I love the show, but I'd rather save that for my review on Pop Spectrum. For now, all I could say is this has to be the best show Nickelodeon has ever produced in their lifetime. They took a chance with a generalized series for everyone to enjoy, and it paid off.
And although his airbending skills are great, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone.
Number 9. Vikings. Vikings is a series inspired by the sagas of a legendary Norse legend Viking, Ragnar Lothbrok. You see him rise up from a farmer to a higher status with every raid he creates and through the help of his colleagues. What sells me with this series is the leading character Ragnar, played by Travis Fimmel. On a side note, I loved him in the Warcraft movie since I believe Travis can be a great character actor. As Ragnar, he's highly curious about the world outside his village. He wants to see everything and consume all the knowledge he can, which makes his friendship with Athelstan interesting. Ragnar is considered to be a barbaric pagan who worships unusual gods in Athelstan's eyes, who is an Anglo-Saxon monk. At the same time, Athelstan is finding himself in internal conflict as he is torn between the customs of Christian England and the pagan ways of Scandinavia. This friendship alone, as they learn off each other, attracted me to this show. In a world where we're seeing ideals and opinions constantly clashing, it's refreshing to witness 2 completely different people coming together to find a common ground and respect for each other. Nothing much to say here, but I find myself loving this show just with Ragnar's curious character alone.
I want to learn some of your language. Will you teach me, please?
Number 8. Whose line is it anyways? Not sure if it's copy now counting a comedy show, but it's my list, and if I want Raptor Calamari on my list, then I'm gonna include Raptor Calamari on my list.
Here, Velociraptor!
Between all three versions, I definitely prefer the Drew Carey series, as it was the one that truly defined what made the franchise great. I mean, it was nice seeing the old gang get back together, but I don't know, it just didn't feel the same. Though this one joke did make me laugh.
Are we allowed to say Disneyland and penis in the same question? I'm pretty sure not.
It is a small world after all.
I just remember loving all the episodes and laughing at every joke, even if I heard it before. I loved watching Ryan, Colin, Wayne, Drew, Greg, Chip, Brad, and anyone else they'd invite to the show just collaborate with each other. My favorite episode is the one with Robin Williams, because it was just a surreal moment. We were used to seeing the usual gang team up, but when Robin Williams makes a guest appearance, it was a golden episode. Makes me miss him more when I watch that episode, because just look at him. Everything he did in this episode was just amazing.
Alright, if entertainers worked funerals.
Is this the loved one? Alright, start the truck, Johnny! Wow, look at him move! Isn't that incredible, ladies and gentlemen? With just 6 volts, you can make your relatives dance again!
No matter how long it's been, I'll still find myself watching these old clips on YouTube, and not just for Insanimania reasons.
I'm not into protection.
Say it again.
What?
I don't think I heard you.
Oh, could no one hear me?
No.
Maybe it's because of this mask I'm wearing.
All I can say is, if you never watched this show, be sure to check out all the clips on YouTube for some amazing jokes.
How did it start?
It all started with a badly timed ball joke.
Number 7. So my childhood was a bit restricted when it came to certain shows. My mom really didn't want me to watch some adult shows when I was younger, but that rule became non-existent throughout the years. It started off with The Simpsons as a kid, Family Guy in high school, and this particular show that I honestly avoided for a long time just because society and the media kept telling me it was dirty and immature. South Park. I can't thank my husband enough for finally convincing me to watch this show. I mean, at first it started out as shock humor and childish, but it ended up turning into one of the best satirical masterpieces ever conceived in television history. It perfectly portrays the errors of humanity, from our stupid obsession with celebrities to our childish behaviors when it comes to politics of all things. Nothing is safe from these guys, as they prove over and over again the real essence of comedy and freedom. It's all okay or none of it is. If one subject is too sensitive to address, then where do we draw the line? We need the show to tell us over and over again that nothing is sacred, nothing should be held on a pedestal, nothing is void of humor. And all of this from a show that used to kill Kenny in every episode. And on a side note, if you think the show's creators can write their series great, you should check out their games. Stick of Truth was one of the best games I've ever played, just by how awesome the writing and atmosphere was, and I certainly can't wait to get my hands on Fracture Butthole. Fracture Butthole. In the end, I highly misjudged this show, and for that, I like to say...
Sorry.
Number 6. Growing up, I never had a Hollywood crush. The closest I ever got to a Hollywood crush was Johnny Depp, but it was more of an admiration of his work and the challenging characters he would take on. With that said, I finally got my Hollywood crush in my mid-20s because of this amazing show. Sherlock. Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch, how I love you! I loved you in Doctor Strange, even in Star Trek Into Darkness, and you made me cry watching The Imitation Game. Hell, I even blushed when I heard you speak in The Hobbit. How can you speak so dreamingly as a dragon? What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Sherlock! There's going to be so many renditions of this classic story. Even Iron Man had a crack at this character, but there's just something attractive about how this series approaches this familiar story. It captures the spirit of the original story while modernizing the mysteries and technology used to solve each case. There's never a dull moment in this series. The cases are intriguing. You're always kept guessing as you watch Sherlock try to solve the case, and you laugh with his cynical humor. Yes, he acts like a smartass all the time, but you can't help but giggle with him. Plus, his friendship with Watson is just adorable. They work off of each other perfectly, and you just can't get enough of him. I highly recommend this show if you were ever curious. All I can say is, I am Sherlocked on this show.
Seen a lot of injuries then. Violent deaths.
Oh, yes.
Bit of trouble too, I bet.
Of course, yes. Enough for a lifetime, far too much.
Want to see some more?
Oh, God, yes.
Number 5. Steven Universe. This is the story of a young boy named Steven being raised by 3 gem warriors named Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, and his dad Greg. Steven is actually half human, half gem, as his mother wanted to experience the human experience, but she had to give up her physical form in order to create Steven. Well, so far that's pretty deep, but we go further down as we witness an open story full of many different elements. How it showcases a variety of characters from all races and even shapes with very diverse personalities and traits. How it celebrates the beauty of freedom and what it means to have it. And above all, how each and every character is far from perfect. This show is not black and white or even good versus evil. It proudly displays the flaws our characters have as we can easily relate to their stories. If anything, this one line sums up the whole show.
You can't control him, and he shouldn't be taking advice from me, and we don't have Rose to tell us what to do! But he needs us to show him how to be a gem!
Steven is not just a gem. There has never been anything or anyone like Steven. We don't know what he needs.
That's what makes this show perfect. These warriors who are here to save the day are still learning every single day how to raise someone like Steven. It's not just a now we're parents experience, but rather raising a child like Steven who really is nothing like anyone else they've ever met. Of course, they have no idea how to treat an emotional child constantly questioning his existence when he's half human and half gem. I plan to review this show one day since I can go on forever about what makes this show incredible. But for now, you'll have to experience this wonderful show for yourself. And to answer your questions quickly, Paradox my favorite gem, Hit the Diamond is my favorite episode, and It's Over, Isn't It is my favorite song. Moving on. Number 4. Growing up in a Disney family, I loved Disney cartoons. I would watch The Little Mermaid show before going to school and come back home to watch Aladdin, Darkwing Duck, and etc. etc. But if I had to choose one cartoon to be Disney's best of all time and my personal favorite, I'd have to choose this one, Gravity Falls. This was definitely the biggest risk that Disney Channel has ever made that succeeded. Keyword succeeded because they took a risk with Schnookums and me, but that had to be their biggest fail. Gravity Falls is the story of twin siblings Dipper and Mabel Pines being dropped off at their Uncle Stan's place in the middle of Hicksville nowhere, also known as Gravity Falls. What may seem like an ordinary town is actually a beacon where the strange and abnormal reside. All of this comes to fruition when Dipper discovers a strange journal full of mysteries that inhabit the town and how to handle them. Dipper also realizes that this journal is one of 3, which leads him to find the other 2 in order to know all the mysteries of the town. Is there anyone else involved with the mysteries? What's behind Uncle Stan's vending machine? Where does Mabel get all of her sweaters? These are the real questions, people. This show is just amazing from the very first episode. All of the characters are memorable, the mysteries have their own original twists, and it all leads to one of the biggest cliffhangers in cartoon history. Okay, well, next to another cartoon, but we'll address that in a minute. For a channel to lower their entertainment standards to teeny bop trash, I was actually impressed that Disney greenlit this exciting show. Not only because of its adult humor and having one of the main characters as a con artist, there was just so much time and effort put into every single episode that you're just shocked that the cheap mouse empire actually distributed this show. I'm happy to see this show, and would love to see more like them in the future.
Now who wants to put on some blindfolds and get into my car? Yay!
Wait, what?
Number 3. Animaniacs. This to me was the best cartoon show I ever grew up with. It was hilarious, smart, and very well thought out. It was actually fun rewatching this series as an adult just to notice all the small details and subtle adult jokes.
I found prints! No, fingerprints. I don't think so.
Okay, well, maybe not that subtle, but the humor was great for any age. The show focuses more on the main trio, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, as we watch numerous characters attempting to lock them back into their water tower just because they're annoying. We also get to see other numerous characters in their own stories, such as Pinky and the Brain, Rita and Runt, the Good Feathers, and my personal favorite, Slappy Squirrel.
This Doug guy here is nothing.
Yeah, but those were cartoons and this is real life.
Don't tell him. He might crack.
My all-time favorite episode from her is Woodstock Slappy, because all the jokes in that episode were amazing.
There's the band.
No, that's not the band. The band is performing later on. Who's on stage?
You tell me.
Who?
The name of the group on stage.
Who?
The name of the group.
Who?
I could watch this series over and over again and still have a great laugh with all of their jokes and characters. It'll never get old for me, and if I have children one day, I'll show them this amazing cartoon. Each episode was a classic to me because the writing was brilliant. No matter the topic or characters, you could tell the writers had a lot of fun with this show. They're animani, totally insane-y. Number 2. Who else wants that Mulan sauce? Hell yeah, I love this show! Rick and Morty. If there was ever a show that blew my mind on a daily basis and kept me guessing constantly, it's this show. I don't know how the writers do it, but they practically made one of the best shows in our modern era. If you've never seen the show, imagine Back to the Future, but on acid, and Doc Brown was a cynical asshole you cannot argue with. Rick Sanchez knows everything and insists on bringing his grandson Morty on his adventures to other planets and even other dimensions. As the show introduces the concept of never-ending realities coexisting with millions of possibilities for each dimension, the ideas the show comes up with are brilliant. In fact, the story is so brilliantly done that it left its own fans in sheer agony as we endured the biggest cliffhanger in our entire lives.
Tune in to Rick and Morty Season 3 in like a year and a half or longer to see how we unravel this mess.
Never before have we ever demanded more answers ever since the final episode of Season 2 aired. And good on you, team, for releasing the first episode of Season 3 on April Fool's Day, the one day that we're not supposed to take anything seriously. And with this massive cliffhanger and build-up, did the episode meet our expectations? That and did it make us crave the delicious sauce that was made back in 1998? Yes. I ran straight home from work to watch that episode, only to be blown away with every scene that went down. That and I googled the recipe for the Mulan sauce. I'm not kidding. How can the writers do it? How can they create something so mind-bogglingly good as it challenges our perspective on life in general? How a character so dark and intelligent like Rick could ever be conceived, and how we want to see how he handles every possible problem in the entire universe just to see how he'd handle it. I could watch every episode over and over again, but my personal favorite has to be Total Recall. The Smiths are suddenly in danger from a bunch of parasites that can easily enter a person's memory and convince them that the new entity right in front of them has been a part of their life for a while. Just watching the memories escalate to all of these hilarious characters and witnessing the solution to defeating the parasites is just amazing.
No! Shoot! Now look, it's like a Where's Waldo page. Can you find me?
With these amazing characters and spectacular writing, I am seriously looking forward to more episodes of Rick and Morty. And can we please get that Mulan sauce back?
And that's the way the news goes.
Before we move forward, here are more shows I like. And the number one non-anime show I like is... I'm was confident that no one would get my number one show right, but surprisingly, one of you got it right on their first try. I first have to make a shout out to Eliana Capole, who did at first get the answer right, but she had so many other shows included in her comment, so I asked her to choose one from her suggestions, but sadly, she got it wrong. I felt the need to make a shout out anyways, but the one who guessed once and got it right was Jack Vigil, who also admitted that this was one of his favorite shows too. With that said, my number one choice and the correct answer is MASH. The phenomenal television series based off of the movie MASH, which is based off of a novel about the doctors and nurses enlisted to treat the wounded soldiers during the Korean War. Although the higher-ups would love to have all of their men and women behave as military as possible, the inhabitants of MASH 4077 prove that they're far from military. The show mostly focuses on the unit's best doctor and resident clown, Benjamin Franklin Pierce, also known as Hawkeye, as he constantly messes with the unit's second-in-command and pain in everyone's ass Frank Burns. He shows why he is the best doctor the unit has, which makes him untouchable by the generals who are constantly impressed with his work. As the show starts off as a risky comedy, making war seem light at times, it brilliantly transitions into one of the deepest dramas ever written on television. No one is ever the same after they leave this unit. Every single character changes for better and for worse. How the comical delight that was Hawkeye sadly breaks by the final episode due to one tragic event that ultimately triggers him. How the manipulative and sexual Hot Lips Houlihan goes through a roller coaster of discovery and self-worth as she transforms from a strict nemesis into an empathetic leader for her nurses. Everyone's morals are constantly put to the test as they are surrounded by death and destruction. Even when the higher-ups and spies question their tactics, they instantly understand as they witness the horror of their jobs on the spot. It's a one-of-a-kind series that I loved watching ever since I was little. When they started releasing each season one by one, my family and I waited in anticipation for the release date as we slowly collected every single episode, only to have them re-release all the episodes into one package with special features and exclusive interviews. Thanks, Fox. I love you too! I loved watching this series to the point where me and my dad can quote every single line from my favorite episode, The Abduction of Margaret Houlihan.
You were extremely jealous of her engagement. You were furious. You were capable of murder. That's right. So you hit her over the head with a blunt instrument, the saxophone. Then you hypnotized her and told her she was Johnny Ray. Then you performed plastic surgery on her, made her look like Johnny. The rest was obvious. You stuffed her in a trunk, you mailed her to Las Vegas, and now she's doing 2 shows a night at the Sand. 3 on Saturdays. There's only one flaw in that theory. Only one? They don't do 3 shows Saturday night at the Sands. How do you know? I was a showgirl for 6 weeks.
Though this show is pretty old and was made before I was even born, I can watch all 11 seasons over and over again. That's how much I love this show. For the special connection I have for this series, and for all the memories I've shared with my dad, MASH will always be my all-time favorite non-anime series.
You know all those rotten things I've said to you? And all those nasty little tricks I played on you?
Yes.
I'd like to get well and do them all over again.
Congratulations to Jack for once again guessing MASH is my favorite show. Now a question for you, the audience, is what's your favorite non-anime show? Leave a comment down below with your answers. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go figure out how I genetically cloned myself.
I have that same shirt.
Need to shave your face? Dollar Shave Club. Need to shave your legs? Dollar Shave Club. Need to shave your mascot? Dollar Shave Club. Once again, this video has been sponsored by the Dollar Shave Club, and they have an awesome deal just for you guys. If you don't already know, DollarShaveClub.com delivers high-quality razors right to your door. And if you go to DollarShaveClub.com/AnimeAmerica or click the link in the description, you get a 1-month trial of any razor for $1. You get to pick out what kind of blades you want, including the executive razor. You can also get body cleansers, body bars, shampoo, conditioner, shave butter, and more. It's an amazing service I personally love to use, and I know you will too. It's $1. What are you waiting for? Go to DollarShaveClub.com/AnimeAmerica or click on the link in the description box and start your trial today.
All right, is this thing on? Test, test.
Alright, little son of bitches, you're gonna subscribe to Anime America, and you're gonna like and comment and share their videos, because if you don't, it could end the world. You could end the world by just not subscribing to Anime America. Oh, jeez, Rick, that's a lot of pressure to put on random people on the internet. Listen here, you little son of a bitch, Morty. If they don't subscribe to Anime America, the world as we know it could end. Do you want that? You want everyone to be like Jerry? All you people that don't subscribe, you're like Jerry. Remember, subscribe and wubba-lubba-dub-dub!
Thanks again for watching. To keep you up to date with Anime America, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Tumblr. The best way you can support this channel for free is by sharing this video with your friends, as well as liking this video. If you wish to support us financially, we have a Patreon page, posters for sale on Store Envy, and awesome t-shirts available on Teespring. Don't forget to subscribe to Anime America for more awesome videos that you'll get instantly if you click on the notification bell. We also have another channel called Pop Spectrum, where we review anything in pop culture. More awesome videos will be on the way, so stay tuned to Anime America.